in the just outside the village of Kennet, in West Kennet, and just left the village of East Kennet. I'm heading towards Silbury, along, got the Kennet river over there. And what I want to talk about is why Silbury Hill was placed where it was. What we can, by looking at the landscape around it, what we can tell about decision making. And I'm going to come at it from a sort of comparative, sort of contextual, sort of art-based position. I'm also coming at it from position of the Old English Charter. Now, that's sort of 3,000 years later than when Silbury was made, but it gives us 1,000 years, a look at the landscape 1,000 years back, so we can think about, well, if nothing else, it's an enjoyable walk with a little bit of historical context. So there's 2.5 charters for Overton, which includes this area, and I've left what we can interpret as the church farm. So that's the church stedder, and I'm following. It says to go from the church stedder to Stratford, which is where we're going now, and I'll explain that in a minute. So to my left is West Kennet Long Barrow, and ahead of me is Swallowhead Spring, Springs, and to the right of me is the Silbury Hill. Now, I said I was going to Stratford. I am, but on the way there I'm going to stop off. I'm not going to go to West Kennet, that's for another time. I am going to have a look at Swallowhead Springs if I can get there. This meadland here is very soggy, as you'd expect in winter, next to a river. But it's worth talking about Swallowhead Springs. Mostly, anyway, I thought it was a load of old rubbish made up by hippies and antiquarians, but it does seem to go back. Anyway, let's talk about that in a second. This is the source of the Kennet, and we know that from Stukely's map. So at least for 300 years this has been the source of the Kennet. And as you should have seen from my footage, that we're right next to Silbury, and I think this is one of the reasons why Silbury was built here. But if you look at a modern map, you'll see the River Kennet comes out of the Thames at Reading, all the way down to Newbury, Hungerford, Marlborough, constantly going west, and then it turns right here and goes north. So by modern standards, the Kennet continues up northwards. But if you look at the names of the villages, you'll see there's at least 2 villages north of here called Winterbourne, which tells us that the English, at least the English, thought of the river going north as being called the Winterbourne. And Winterbourne means stream or beck or bourne, and winter means that it only runs in winter. So there is a difference in quality between the river that's gone west from the Thames to here and the water course that goes north from here up through Avebury. And I think this is why this place is significant. The fact that it's marked on Stukely's map means that it's not just been made up by hippies, antiquarians. I would say anybody who's selling ribbon around here is doing a brisk trade. But I had assumed, I paid, you know, it's venerated, it obviously is. And in a way I venerated it too. I've been here many times, but I've never really seen any evidence. It's just been a matter of faith that this place meant anything at all. It probably did, all those you know, millennia ago, and has ever since, which is peculiar because there's not very much here to indicate. So it seems to have happened organically that this place has been important. If you would like to see the first episode of my Avebury series, click to the right. Please subscribe and feel free to comment and so on. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Ta-ra for now.